Number 1. The 1970 Ford Torino GT Restomod. In my opinion, this 1970 Ford Torino GT Restomod is the kind of classic muscle car that was built to be driven and enjoyed rather than hidden away in a climate-controlled garage. While the seller openly admits that it is not a show car, that honesty may actually make the vehicle more appealing to enthusiasts who value performance, presence, and practicality over perfection. The 1970 model year is widely considered one of the most desirable years for the Torino lineup thanks to its aggressive body styling, long hood, muscular stance, and unmistakable fastback-inspired design cues. Even today, the Torino GT remains one of the most recognizable Ford muscle cars of the era, offering a unique alternative to the more commonly seen Mustang. Power comes from a massive 429 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. For many collectors and enthusiasts, the 429 is one of Ford's most legendary big block power plants, known for its abundant torque and effortless acceleration. Whether cruising on the highway or accelerating from a stoplight, a 429-powered Torino delivers the kind of old-school muscle car experience that modern vehicles simply cannot replicate. As a Restomod, this Torino appears to offer the best of both worlds. It retains the iconic styling and character of a classic 1970 muscle car while benefiting from updates that make ownership and driving more enjoyable. Although the seller provides limited details regarding the specific modifications, the Restomod designation suggests that improvements have likely been made with drivability and reliability in mind. One aspect I particularly like is the seller's realistic description. Rather than claiming the vehicle is flawless, it is presented as a nice driver-quality classic. That often means owners can take the car to cruise nights, local shows, and weekend road trips without worrying about every small chip or imperfection. For many enthusiasts, that freedom adds significantly to the enjoyment of classic car ownership. The Torino GT has also become increasingly desirable in recent years as collectors continue to recognize its styling, rarity, and connection to Ford's muscle car heritage. Finding a solid example equipped with a 429 V8 can be challenging, especially when compared to the large number of restored Mustangs and Camaros currently available on the market. Personally, I believe this car's greatest strength is its combination of visual impact and big block performance. It offers the aggressive appearance that muscle car buyers want, backed by one of Ford's most respected engines. At an asking price of $35,000, this 1970 Ford Torino GT Restomod could represent a compelling opportunity for someone seeking a powerful, distinctive, and highly enjoyable classic American muscle car. The seller is also open to trades for vehicles of similar interest and value, providing additional flexibility for potential buyers. Number 2. 1966 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 Coupe 2D. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 clone is one of those builds that tries to capture the spirit of a true Shelby while still remaining based on an original early Mustang platform. While it is not an original factory GT350, the level of detail and part selection makes it a very interesting tribute car for someone who appreciates classic Shelby styling and performance characteristics. This vehicle is located in Merion Station, Pennsylvania, and is listed for $59,900. It is based on an original C-Code 1966 Mustang Fastback that has been converted into a GT350 style configuration using a combination of original Shelby components and quality reproduction parts. Finished in Wimbledon white with Guardsman blue stripes, even though the paint is described as older, the color scheme remains one of the most iconic in Shelby history and immediately identifies the car as a tribute to the legendary GT350. Under the hood, the car is equipped with a 302 cubic inch Mexican block high-performance engine, upgraded with comp cam roller rockers. It also features a Shelby intake manifold, original-style Holley 715 carburetor, headers, and a dual exhaust system. In my opinion, this combination is designed to deliver a strong vintage performance feel while still maintaining a level of drivability suitable for regular use. The engine is paired with a 4-speed top-loader manual transmission, which is highly regarded among classic Ford enthusiasts for its strength and engaging driving experience. This setup helps preserve the raw, mechanical character that made the original Shelby GT350 so desirable in the first place. Suspension and handling upgrades include Coney shocks, Shelby front springs, and torque bars on the rear leaf springs. These modifications are consistent with period-correct Shelby performance enhancements and contribute to a more planted and responsive driving feel compared to a standard Mustang. Braking performance has also been improved with Kelsey Hayes front power disc brakes and rear drum brakes. While not modern by today's standards, this configuration reflects a classic performance setup that balances stopping power with original style authenticity. Inside, the car retains a nearly original silver blue interior that is described as being in excellent condition. Details such as the Cobra tachometer, Cobra lap belts, and black dash pad help reinforce the Shelby-inspired theme. One notable feature is the rear side plexiglass window conversion, which is correct for GT350 style builds and adds to the authenticity of the overall appearance. According to the seller, everything on the vehicle works properly, and recent updates include a new radiator, hoses, tires, and reproduction-style Autolite AGM battery. These details suggest that the car has been maintained with both usability and presentation in mind. Personally, I think the most important thing to understand about this Mustang is that it is a well-executed GT350 clone rather than an original Shelby. That distinction matters significantly in terms of collector value, but it does not necessarily reduce its appeal as a driving and enjoyment-focused classic car. For many enthusiasts, a properly built tribute car like this offers the look, feel, and driving experience of a Shelby at a more accessible entry point compared to an authentic, high-dollar original. Overall, this 1966 Ford Mustang GT350 style build presents itself as a carefully assembled tribute with strong mechanical upgrades, period-correct styling cues, and a desirable vintage performance setup. In my opinion, it would appeal most to someone who values the Shelby aesthetic and driving experience more than strict originality, and who wants a classic Mustang that is both visually striking and enjoyable on the road. Number 3. This 1964 Chevrolet Nova SS400 is a clean, well-built example of a classic Chevy compact that blends originality with tasteful restoration work. This car is presented as a true 47 code Nova 400 equipped with a Super Sport package, finished in a striking Daytona blue exterior with matching blue bucket seats inside. The overall look is period-correct in spirit, but with subtle upgrades that improve both appearance and drivability without taking away from its classic identity. Under the hood is a 283 cubic inch V8 paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. The small block 283 has long been known as one of Chevrolet's most reliable and responsive engines from the era, offering a smooth balance of drivability and light performance. Combined with a manual gearbox, this Nova delivers a more engaging driving experience, especially for enthusiasts who enjoy full control of the car. The seller notes that the vehicle has been restored by Harrison's Rod & Custom and has participated in the Hot Rod Power Tour, which suggests a level of build quality and reliability suitable for long-distance cruising rather than just local show use. Supporting that idea, the car is described as something that can be driven anywhere and does not require immediate work or attention. Inside, the blue bucket seat interior is complemented by SS-style gauges, giving the cabin a clean and performance-focused appearance. The car also rides on billet specialties wheels, sized 17 inches in the front and 18 inches in the rear, giving it a slightly modern stance while still maintaining a classic muscle car profile. According to the seller, this Nova is a one-owner vehicle with a clean title and no known damage issues. It is also described as being in very solid condition overall, both mechanically and cosmetically. The combination of a professional restoration, upgraded components, and long-distance road tour history adds confidence that this is not just a showpiece, but a properly sorted driver. In my opinion, what makes this Nova SS especially appealing is its balance. It is not overbuilt or excessively modified, but it does incorporate just enough modern touches, such as wheels and gauges, to make it more enjoyable on today's roads. At the same time, it retains its classic Chevrolet character with a small block V8, 4-speed manual transmission, and authentic SS identity. With an asking price of $35,500, this 1964 Chevrolet Nova SS400 appears to be a strong candidate for someone looking for a classic muscle compact that is already sorted, road-ready, and capable of being enjoyed immediately without needing further restoration work. Number 4. 1970 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler. The 1970 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler is one of those classic muscle-era cars that doesn't always get the same attention as its Ford and Chevrolet rivals, but it absolutely deserves respect. Built during the height of the American horsepower wars, the Cyclone Spoiler combined bold styling with serious big block performance, making it a true sleeper among collectors today. This particular example is finished in a bright orange exterior paired with a black interior, a color combination that fits the aggressive personality of the car very well. The sharp body lines, long hood, and fastback-inspired design give it a strong road presence that immediately signals its muscle car intentions. With only 2 previous owners and a clean title, it also appears to have been reasonably preserved over the years. Under the hood sits a 429 cubic inch big block V8, one of Ford's most powerful engines of the era. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, this setup delivers a raw and engaging driving experience that puts full control in the driver's hands. In my opinion, this combination alone is what makes cars like this special. It's not just about horsepower, but about how directly connected the driver feels to the machine. The seller notes that the car is mostly original with minimal rust, which is a strong point for a vehicle of this age. Many muscle cars from this period have suffered from heavy modification or structural issues, so finding one that remains largely intact is increasingly rare. The "turn key and go" description also suggests that it is currently operational and ready to be enjoyed, rather than requiring major restoration work. Inside, the black interior includes a center console setup that adds to the sporty feel of the cabin. While not overly modernized, it maintains a factory-style simplicity that matches the car's original performance-focused identity. The mileage is listed at approximately 80,000 miles, which is fairly reasonable for a car that has been on the road for more than 5 decades. What I personally find most appealing about this Cyclone spoiler is its balance between originality and usability. It has not been heavily modified or over-restored, but it also doesn't appear to be a project car sitting in pieces. Instead, it sits in that desirable middle ground where a classic can still be driven and enjoyed without fear of immediate major repairs. Overall, I believe this 1970 Mercury Cyclone spoiler is an underrated muscle car with strong collector potential. The big block 429 engine, 4-speed manual transmission, minimal rust, and mostly original condition make it a compelling option for enthusiasts who want something different from the usual Mustang or Camaro. At an asking price of $42,500, it offers a unique opportunity to own a genuine piece of early 1970s American performance history. Number 5. This 1970 Dodge Cornet R/T Tribute. This 1970 Dodge Cornet R/T Tribute is one of those classic Mopar builds that focuses more on driving enjoyment and presence rather than full restoration perfection. Originally a Cornet 500, it has been styled and presented as an R/T Tribute, giving it the look and feel of Dodge's high-performance muscle lineup from the era while still retaining its original character underneath. Powered by a 383 cubic inch 4-barrel V8 paired with an automatic transmission, this Cornet delivers the kind of traditional big-block muscle car experience that defined early 1970s American performance. According to the seller, both the engine and transmission are original to the car, which adds an extra layer of authenticity for buyers who value factory-correct drivetrains. The car runs and drives well, making it a usable classic rather than a static restoration piece. The equipment list makes it even more appealing as a driver-oriented classic. It comes with air conditioning, power steering, bucket seats, and a center console, which gives it a more comfortable and refined feel compared to more stripped-down muscle cars of the same era. These features make it easier to enjoy on longer drives or weekend cruising without sacrificing the classic muscle car identity. Finished in a burnt orange color both inside and out, the car carries a period-correct look that fits the personality of early 70s Mopar design. The seller notes that the car presents well but is not perfect, which is expected for a vehicle of this age that has been driven and enjoyed rather than fully restored to show condition. Documentation is another strong point, as the car comes with 2 build sheets, which can be valuable for verifying its original configuration and history. The title also indicates approximately 15,000 original miles, although the seller notes that the accuracy of that mileage cannot be confirmed. In my opinion, this Cornet sits in an interesting middle ground in the classic car market. It's not a high-dollar, fully restored show car, but it also isn't a rough project. Instead, it feels like a solid driver-quality muscle car that still retains its original drivetrain and factory identity. For many enthusiasts, that balance is actually more enjoyable than owning something too perfect to drive regularly. At an asking price ranging from $36,000 to $43,000, this Dodge Cornet R/T Tribute is positioned for buyers who want a classic Mopar with real presence, strong engine performance, and enough comfort options to make it practical for weekend use. While it may not be flawless, it appears to offer a genuine old-school muscle car experience that can still be enjoyed on the road today. Number 6. The 1980 Chevrolet Camaro Berlinetta. In my opinion, this 1980 Camaro Berlinetta is one of those classic American cars that sits in an interesting space between vintage muscle and early 80s personal luxury styling. While it may not carry the raw, aggressive reputation of earlier first-generation Camaros, it offers a unique blend of comfort, collectability, and everyday usability that makes it appealing in its own right. Finished in black with an 80,000-mile reading, this Camaro is presented as a driver-quality classic that is currently being used as a daily vehicle. That alone says a lot about its overall condition and reliability, since many older performance cars rarely see consistent road use. The seller also highlights that the car comes with original documentation, including the factory build sheet and warranty papers, which adds a strong layer of authenticity and collector value. One of the more interesting claims is that this is a rare example, reportedly one of only 150 produced in this configuration. If accurate, that level of rarity significantly increases its appeal for collectors who focus on limited production variants and well-documented vehicles from the late 1970s and early 1980s Camaro lineup. Under the hood, the car is powered by a Chevy 305 V8 engine paired with a turbo 350 automatic transmission. While not a high-performance setup by modern standards, this drivetrain is known for durability and smooth operation, making it well-suited for cruising and regular driving rather than racing or track use. For many enthusiasts, that kind of simplicity is part of the charm. The seller also notes that the vehicle includes the original gear shifter and additional accessories, which is an important detail for collectors who value originality and completeness. Having original components preserved and included with the car often enhances long-term value and authenticity. Personally, I think this Camaro Berlinetta is most appealing as a nostalgic cruiser rather than a traditional muscle car. It reflects a transitional era for Chevrolet, where comfort, styling, and drivability began to take priority alongside performance. While it may not deliver the raw power of earlier Z28 models, it compensates with originality, documentation, and usable everyday character. At an asking price of $17,500, this 1980 Chevrolet Camaro Berlinetta could be a solid option for someone looking for a classic Camaro that can be driven regularly while still offering collector interest and period-correct charm. Its combination of documentation, rarity claim, and daily driver condition makes it an interesting entry point into the late-era Camaro market. Number 7. 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 Coupe. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 is a simple but very honest classic Ford that focuses more on originality and driving feel than high-performance modifications. In a market where many classic cars have been heavily upgraded or fully restored, this type of preserved, family-owned example often has a different kind of appeal. This Fairlane is located in Wirtz, Virginia, and is listed for $13,000. Finished in a bright yellow exterior with a black interior, it has a classic mid-1960s American look that stands out without needing flashy customization. The coupe body style gives it a clean and traditional profile, reflecting Ford's design language during that era. According to the seller, the car has been owned by the same family and shows just over 100,000 miles. That kind of long-term ownership history can be an important detail for buyers who value consistency and care over decades rather than short-term resale turnover. Under the hood, the Fairlane is equipped with a 200 cubic inch inline-six engine paired with a 3-speed manual transmission, also known as a straight drive. In my opinion, this combination is not about performance, but about simplicity and durability. The 200 inline-six is known for being a reliable engine, and paired with a manual gearbox, it delivers a very direct and mechanical driving experience that many classic car enthusiasts still enjoy today. The seller describes the car as a slick Fairlane coupe, suggesting that it has a clean presentation overall. While the listing does not go into detail about restorations or upgrades, the focus here seems to be on originality and preservation rather than modern enhancements or performance builds. Personally, I think the strongest appeal of this Fairlane is its straightforward nature. It is not trying to be a muscle car or a heavily modified showpiece. Instead, it represents a more basic and authentic version of 1960s Ford transportation, where driving enjoyment comes from the experience itself rather than horsepower numbers or aftermarket upgrades. Overall, this 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 appears to be a clean, family-owned classic that offers simplicity, manual transmission engagement, and vintage American styling at an accessible price point. In my opinion, it would suit someone looking for a traditional old-school driver that can be enjoyed as is, without the pressure of extensive restoration or modification work. Number 8. This 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 GT is a classic example of mid-60s American performance styling, offered here as a simple but solid vintage driver. Finished in a used but respectable condition, this Fairlane carries the classic proportions and presence that made Ford's full-size performance sedans and coupes so popular during the muscle car era. The GT badge gives it a sportier identity, and even without heavy modifications or modern upgrades, the Fairlane still delivers the kind of old-school character that collectors and casual enthusiasts appreciate. According to the listing, the car is powered by its original style setup typical of the 500 GT model range, paired with an automatic transmission. While detailed specifications are limited in the description, the Fairlane platform is known for offering strong V8 options and a comfortable yet capable driving experience for its time. This particular example is described as being in good used condition, which suggests it has been maintained and kept running rather than fully restored or heavily modified. The seller is firm on the price at $12,000, indicating that it is being positioned as an entry-level classic rather than a high-end collector restoration. The Fairlane 500 GT holds a unique place in Ford's history, sitting in the sweet spot between full-size comfort and muscle car performance. Even in original, lightly preserved condition, these cars are valued for their simple mechanical design, strong road presence, and potential for future restoration or customization. In my opinion, what makes this listing interesting is its affordability and honesty. At $12,000, this is not a show-quality build or a fully restored collector piece. It appears to be more of a driver-quality classic that could be enjoyed as is or gradually improved over time. For buyers looking to enter the classic Ford market without spending heavily up front, it offers a relatively accessible starting point. Located in Savannah, Georgia, this 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 GT represents a straightforward opportunity, a classic American GT badge, old-school V8 era styling, and a price point that keeps it within reach for enthusiasts who value character over perfection. Number 9. 1964 Ford Falcon. The 1964 Ford Falcon is a great example of early 1960s American compact design, and it often appeals to enthusiasts who want a classic that is simpler, lighter, and more approachable than the larger muscle cars of the same era. This particular Falcon stands out because it appears to have been thoughtfully refreshed while still maintaining its original character and straightforward driving nature. Finished in blue exterior paint with a matching blue interior, the car presents a clean and cohesive look that fits the period very well. According to the seller, the vehicle has received newer paint along with refreshed chrome, bumper trim, and exterior detailing, giving it a noticeably improved appearance without straying too far from its factory roots. New wheels and tires also contribute to its updated but still classic stance. Under the hood, this Falcon is powered by a 289 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. In my opinion, this is one of the better upgrades you can have in a lightweight classic like the Falcon. The 289 is known for being reliable, responsive, and fun to drive, especially in a smaller chassis where power-to-weight balance works in its favor. The car is also equipped with power brakes, which adds an important level of drivability and safety compared to the original setup. While it retains manual steering, the seller notes that it still steers easily, which is a positive sign for overall mechanical condition and maintenance quality. Inside, the interior has been replaced or refreshed and now appears new, giving the cabin a clean and comfortable feel. Combined with the exterior updates, the overall presentation suggests that this Falcon has been cared for and improved with usability in mind, rather than being left as a fully original unrestored vehicle. One of the most notable points is that this is a one-owner car, which is increasingly rare in classic vehicles of this age. A single ownership history often suggests consistent maintenance and a lower likelihood of neglect or major undocumented issues over time. What I personally like about this Falcon is its simplicity. It is not trying to be an over-the-top muscle car or a heavily modified restomod. Instead, it appears to be a clean, driver-focused classic that can be enjoyed regularly. The combination of the 289 V8, refreshed condition, and straightforward mechanical setup makes it feel like a dependable entry point into classic Ford ownership. Overall, I believe this 1964 Ford Falcon offers strong value for someone looking for a vintage American car that is easy to drive, visually clean, and mechanically upgraded in sensible ways. With an asking price of $21,500 and the added appeal of one-owner history, it represents a solid choice for enthusiasts who prefer classic simplicity over complexity or extreme performance builds. Number 10. This 1964 Mercury Comet Cyclone. This 1964 Mercury Comet Cyclone is a classic example of early 1960s American performance styling, combining compact proportions with V8 power in a way that helped define the muscle car era before it fully took shape. Located in Weston, West Virginia, and priced at $25,000, this Comet presents itself as a clean, straightforward driver with strong mechanical basics and timeless vintage appeal. Under the hood sits a 289 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. This powertrain combination is one of Ford's most well-regarded setups from the period, known for its durability, smooth operation, and easy maintenance. According to the seller, both the engine and transmission are in great shape, suggesting that the car is mechanically sound and ready for regular use rather than requiring immediate major work. Finished in red with a black interior, the Comet Cyclone carries a bold but simple color combination that fits the sporty personality of the model. The Cyclone trim was the performance-oriented version of the Comet lineup, and even in its early form, it gave buyers a more aggressive and stylish alternative to standard compact sedans of the time. With approximately 84,000 miles reported, this Mercury appears to have been driven and enjoyed rather than stored away as a static collector piece. That often adds character to a classic car, especially one that is still presented in a clean and respectable condition. While the listing does not go into extensive detail about restorations or modifications, the emphasis is clearly on a solid-running vehicle with a strong drivetrain foundation. In my opinion, what makes this Comet Cyclone appealing is its simplicity. It is not overloaded with modifications or complex upgrades, and it doesn't appear to be a heavily restored show car that is too valuable to drive. Instead, it feels like a usable classic that offers authentic 1960s driving character with dependable Ford V 8 power. At a $25,000 asking price, this Mercury Comet Cyclone sits in the range where buyers are typically looking for a balance between originality, drivability, and collector interest. It may not be the most aggressive muscle car of its era, but it carries a unique charm and historical significance as part of Mercury's early performance lineup. Overall, this 1964 Comet Cyclone looks like a solid vintage cruiser with good mechanical health, classic styling, and enough performance to make it enjoyable on modern roads while still preserving its old-school personality. Number 11. The 1974 Oldsmobile Cutlass Salon. In my opinion, this 1974 Oldsmobile Cutlass Salon is a strong example of how mid-70s American luxury and performance could still come together in one well-optioned package. While it may not have the aggressive reputation of earlier muscle cars, this Cutlass stands out as a comfortable, well-equipped cruiser with classic V8 power and a refined driving feel. Finished in silver with a burgundy interior, the car carries a clean and tasteful color combination that fits the Oldsmobile character very well. The Cutlass Salon trim was designed to offer a more upscale driving experience compared to standard models, and this example reflects that intention through both its features and presentation. Under the hood, it is equipped with a desirable 455 cubic inch V8 engine, which remains one of Oldsmobile's most respected big block power plants. Known for its strong torque output, the 455 gives the Cutlass plenty of effortless highway performance and relaxed cruising capability. Paired with an automatic transmission with overdrive, the drivetrain setup is clearly aimed at comfortable long-distance driving rather than aggressive performance. One of the most impressive aspects of this car is its list of options. According to the seller, it includes cloth bucket seats, a center console, tilt steering, air conditioning, power windows, power door locks, and a power seat. For a 1974 model, this level of equipment makes it feel much closer to a luxury coupe than a basic muscle car, and it significantly enhances everyday usability. The vehicle is described as very clean overall, with no significant damage reported and a clean title. With approximately 85,000 miles, it appears to have been driven and enjoyed rather than stored away, but still maintained in a condition that reflects careful ownership. That balance often results in a more honest and usable classic compared to heavily restored show cars. Personally, I see this Cutlass Salon as an ideal, grand touring-style classic. It offers the presence and torque of a big block Oldsmobile while providing comfort features that make it genuinely enjoyable to drive today. It may not be the most aggressive muscle car of its era, but it excels in relaxed cruising, style, and overall comfort. At an asking price of $14,800, this 1974 Oldsmobile Cutlass Salon presents a compelling value for anyone looking for a well-equipped classic V8 cruiser that can be driven regularly and appreciated for both its comfort and vintage character. Number 12. 1974 Mercury Monterey 2-Door Coupe. In my opinion, this 1974 Mercury Monterey is one of those classic full-size American cars that feels more like a preserved time capsule than a typical used vehicle. It represents an era when large sedans and coupes were built with comfort, simplicity, and presence in mind, rather than performance or aggressive styling. This particular example is located in District Heights, Maryland, and is listed for $14,500. Finished in a factory green exterior with a matching green interior, the car maintains a very period-correct and original appearance that reflects the styling trends of the mid-1970s. The color combination adds to its vintage character, making it feel authentic and unchanged from its original design intent. According to the seller, this Monterey has just 28,300 original miles and is believed to be a rare factory one-of-one build due to its unique configuration. The most notable claim is that the car was ordered without both a radio and a clock, which the seller states makes it a one-of-one specification from the factory. While unusual option combinations can certainly make a classic car more interesting, this detail adds a unique talking point to the vehicle's overall story. The ownership history also appears to be well documented. The car is described as being a three-owner vehicle, with the first owner reportedly using it only for occasional weekend church trips. It was later preserved by a close friend of the current seller before eventually being purchased by the current owner in 2022. In my opinion, this kind of low-use, long-term preservation history is often more valuable than heavy restoration work because it helps maintain originality. Mechanically, the vehicle is described as being in very good condition and remains largely original. It has always been garage-kept and recently received basic maintenance, including an oil change, full fluid check, and a new battery. The seller also notes that all gauges function properly, including the odometer, speedometer, and fuel gauge, which is an important detail for a vehicle of this age. One of the strongest aspects of this Monterey is its originality. The factory paint and original upholstery are still in place, along with original Mercury floor mats. In my opinion, surviving examples like this are becoming increasingly rare, especially when they retain so many original components after more than 4 decades. The seller does acknowledge a few cosmetic imperfections, including minor paint blemishes on the hood, a couple of small dings, and a roof dent. However, these issues appear relatively minor when considering the car's age and overall preserved condition. For many collectors, small imperfections are acceptable or even desirable if the vehicle remains largely untouched. The car starts easily, runs well, and is described as very low maintenance due to its low mileage and preserved condition. That kind of usability is important because many classic cars of this era require frequent repairs or restoration work before they can be reliably driven. Personally, I think the most interesting aspect of this Mercury Monterey is not just the claimed rarity, but the overall preservation story. It is not a restored or heavily modified vehicle, but rather a well-kept example of 1970s American automotive design that has survived with its originality largely intact. Overall, this 1974 Mercury Monterey appears to be a genuine collector-style, survivor car. With its low mileage, long-term ownership history, factory original condition, unique option story, and consistent maintenance, it offers a rare opportunity for someone who appreciates untouched classic cars. In my opinion, it is best suited for a collector who values originality and historical character more than performance or modern upgrades. Number 13. This 1975 Oldsmobile Cutlass stands out as one of those classic GM cruisers that has survived in unusually clean, low-mileage condition. Finished in a gold exterior with a white interior theme, this Cutlass carries the typical mid-1970s styling that Oldsmobile was known for. Comfortable, slightly formal, and built more for smooth cruising than aggressive performance. Under the hood sits a 350 cubic inch V8 paired with a turbo-hydromatic automatic transmission, a combination that defined reliable full-size GM driving during this era. According to the seller, this car shows just over 17,000 original miles, which is extremely low for a vehicle of this age and is likely the biggest factor driving its value. The Cutlass is described as being in excellent condition with no rust, which is another major advantage, especially for cars from the mid-70s where corrosion is often a serious issue. The car is equipped with power steering and power brakes, making it easy and comfortable to drive even by modern standards. It also rides on period-style white stripe radial tires, helping maintain its original factory-era appearance. A refreshed vinyl roof has recently been installed, adding to the car's clean presentation and improving its overall exterior condition. Inside, the vehicle retains its original character, although the refurbished radio still needs to be reinstalled. The air conditioning system is currently not functional, which is not uncommon for classics of this age, but the rest of the car is reported to be in solid working order. Documentation is another strong point, as the seller notes that all original paperwork is included. This is often important for collectors who value provenance and want verification of mileage and ownership history. In my opinion, the strongest appeal of this Cutlass is its originality and preserved condition rather than performance. It is not a muscle car in the aggressive sense, but more of a genuine low-mileage survivor from the mid-1970s luxury performance era of American cars. Vehicles like this are becoming harder to find because many were either heavily used or modified over time. At an asking price of $25,000, this 1975 Oldsmobile Cutlass positions itself as a well-preserved survivor rather than a restoration project or modified build. For buyers looking for a clean, original, and comfortable classic cruiser with documented low mileage, this example presents a strong and straightforward option. Number 14. 1968 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 Convertible. This 1968 Shelby GT 500 Convertible represents one of the most iconic names in American muscle car history, blending Ford Mustang performance with Carroll Shelby's performance engineering legacy. As a convertible GT 500 built in the late 1960s era, it carries strong collector appeal, especially for enthusiasts who value Shelby-badged performance cars from this period. The car is finished in black exterior paint with a matching black interior, giving it a bold and aggressive presence that fits the Shelby identity. The convertible body style adds another layer of desirability, as open-top Shelby GT 500 models are significantly rarer compared to their coupe counterparts. Under the hood, this vehicle is powered by a 428 cubic inch V8 engine, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission as stated by the seller. In my opinion, this combination is one of the defining characteristics of classic Shelby performance. Big block torque combined with a true manual driving experience that demands driver involvement and rewards skill. The car is described as having been restored to Shelby GT 500 specification, and documentation is included in the form of a Marty report shown in the photos. It is also noted as a two-owner vehicle, with its early life beginning in Florida before being stored indoors in Ohio. Long-term indoor storage is generally a positive factor, as it often helps preserve structural integrity and reduce exposure-related deterioration. A notable historical point is that the car reportedly ran at Amelia in 2004, adding some level of documented public exposure and event participation. However, the seller also clarifies that the vehicle is not a KR model, despite previous catalog references, and that its original mileage listings cannot be fully verified. In my opinion, transparency on these details is important, especially in high-value collector vehicles where provenance significantly affects value. What stands out most about this GT 500 is its collector positioning rather than just its performance. At this price level, buyers are not only paying for the 428 V8 power and Shelby branding, but also for rarity, restoration quality, documentation, and historical significance. Convertibles in particular tend to carry a premium due to their limited production numbers and strong visual appeal. Overall, I believe this 1968 Shelby GT 500 convertible represents a high-end collector-grade muscle car that appeals more to serious enthusiasts and investors than casual buyers. With its big block 428 engine, manual transmission, documented restoration, and iconic Shelby heritage, it stands as one of the more prestigious entries in the classic Ford performance lineup. Priced at $250,000 and located in Ohio, this vehicle is clearly positioned as a premium collectible rather than a typical classic car purchase. Number 15. This 1979 Lincoln Continental. This 1979 Lincoln Continental is being offered more as a parts or project opportunity than a complete, road-ready classic. Located in Knoxville, Tennessee, and listed at just $1,000, it represents the kind of full-size American luxury car that still carries presence even in non-running condition. From the outside, the seller describes the body as straight, which is a positive starting point for a vehicle of this size and age. These late 1970s Lincolns were known for their long, formal styling, soft ride, and heavy emphasis on comfort and road isolation. Even today, they remain recognizable as part of Lincoln's classic luxury heritage. The car is finished in a blue exterior with a matching blue interior, a color combination that was very common for luxury vehicles of this era. The seller mentions that the car has a number of usable parts still intact, and notes that the sunroof has already been removed. This suggests that while the vehicle is not being sold as a complete restoration candidate, it may still be valuable for someone looking for trim pieces, interior components, or body panels. However, there are some important limitations buyers should be aware of. Most notably, the vehicle does not come with a title, which significantly affects its usability for registration and road use in many areas. The seller is also clear that the primary motivation for selling is to remove the vehicle from the property, rather than to present it as a fully functional classic ready for restoration. In my opinion, this Lincoln Continental falls firmly into the category of a parts car or a very long-term project for someone with the proper resources and patience. While the straight body is encouraging, the lack of a title and the unknown mechanical condition make it difficult to justify as a straightforward restoration project unless the buyer has a very specific plan. At the same time, these large luxury Lincolns are becoming less common, and certain components can still hold value for restorers or collectors working on similar models. For the right buyer, it could serve as a donor vehicle or a source of hard-to-find parts that are no longer widely available. Overall, this 1979 Lincoln Continental is not a turnkey classic, but rather a budget-level opportunity for parts recovery or a very ambitious restoration project. Its value depends heavily on what the buyer is looking to salvage or rebuild, rather than its ability to be driven in its current condition.